Can Julius Malema's remarks about the Indian community incite racial hatred? Why has minority rights equality movement laid criminal charges against him? Is the country failing to eradicate discriminations inherited from its apartheid past? And can the revival of the Rainbow Nation concept help enhance social cohesion? What time is it? It's question time. Khotsong, and welcome to the show. My name is Mpho Tsedu. The comments made by EFF leader Julius Malema when celebrating the party's 4th anniversary in Durban have caused a stir. Malema waged a scathing attack on the Indian community for their treatment of black workers. EFF says it is fully behind its commander-in-chief's comments and would never apologize for condemning oppression. The remarks have attracted a lot of interest given sporadic incidents of racial tensions and attacks in some parts of the country. Malema made some controversial comments about the Indian community in 2011, but later apologized. At the time, he was still the leader of the ANC Youth League. Meanwhile, the South African minority rights equality movement has laid criminal charges against the EFF leader. We are live, and therefore you can call us and air your views. The numbers to dial 0891104210. Our Twitter handle at QuestionTime24. Now, my guests today, got a learned panel today. Dalimpofu is the advocate, of course, and he's the national chairperson of the Economic Freedom Fighters. And from our Durban studios, Advocate Ashin Singh. He's the convener of the South African Minority Rights Equality Movement. But before we get into the discussion, let's have a look at what Julius had to say.
Here in Durban, here in KwaZulu-Natal, everything strategic is given to Indian families. Everything big tender is given to Indian families. They are the ones who are owning strategic things here in KwaZulu-Natal. We don't have a problem. We are saying to them, share with our people. We also want to call upon our fellow Indians here in Natal to respect Africans. They are ill-treating them. They are ill-treating them. Western Afrikaners will do. We don't want that to continue here in Natal.
Well, that's Julius there, and Advocate Dalimpofu joins me in studio. Well, congratulations, 4 years. And instead of us now having to talk about the achievements that the EFF has made in the 4 years, we now have to focus in one element of, howsoever long a speech. I'm disappointed. I would rather want to talk about, what the EFF has done.
Well, you should. You should not concentrate. You shouldn't be waylaid by the hysteria in the media. The 4 years has indeed been a great journey. The mere fact, ironically, that we even have to talk about the little part that you are talking about is because I think nobody can deny now that the EFF is a force to reckon with, that it has reshaped completely the South African political landscape, and it's no longer a small voice in the wilderness. And it has to be listened to, and we're happy about that. Of course, we're not happy when people take things that we say and want to use them for racial incitement and that kind of thing. Because, you see, we called ourselves at our 4th anniversary the truth machine, or the people who speak the truth. And we speak the truth. We speak the truth to power. In South Africa, I've always said, we all want, there's one thing that we all want, is a peaceful, non-racial, united South Africa. There's nobody who can argue about that. The question is that people want a fallacy of pretending that is happening now.
Yep.
It's like, as I say, if you have to cross a river, a crocodile-infested river, you either have to pretend that you are across that side, or you actually have to cross through the crocodiles and then go to the real other side. Now, we can't be pussyfooting about the realities of this society.
Yes.
It's not the fault of, when they talk about abuse of men, of women by men, for example, these are all issues that are real, that are historical, that are happening. So I don't feel offended if somebody says men are trash, men are abusing women, because men are. But I don't feel personally abused because I know they don't refer to me. Those who must be offended are those who are abusing women, either in public or in the privacy of their bedrooms. So when we condemn the tyranny that is happening in Zambia, for example, right now, where opposition leaders are incarcerated,
yes,
nobody can say, well, then we are condemning all the 900 million Africans on earth. It doesn't work that way. So those people who, and what we say is not based on nonsense that we hear in the gossip mongering. Whenever we take a platform in a community, Mpo, it is after we have done door-to-door, like we did for 2 or 3 weeks in Durban, and we hear the real complaints of the people. And it's our duty, once we hear the issues of that particular community, to air it in public. If it doesn't sit comfortably with certain people, well, so be it. But we will never, ever resolve the problems of this country if we're going to pretend that we just hug and kiss, there's no past, we're all,
love each other.
Yeah, no, doesn't work that way. Well, at least you won't get that from the EFF. You can get it from other people. Yeah.
Now, Advocate Ashwin, why did you open or lay charges against Julius then?
Greetings, Sanbonani, Namaste, thank you for having me. I was looking forward to seeing the Commander-in-Chief himself, because the last time I met him, he hugged me and shook my hand and thanked the Indians for supporting his party and donating so much money to him. He knows me personally. I'm surprised he's not here. I like your example about men beating women. Why don't you say black men or Indian men or colored men or white men? Does not suit your argument. Now, when you adopt the moral high ground and specify a particular race, you raise issues that pose serious questions. You never raise the issue that Lord Robin Renwick, who's alleged to be the handler of the EFF, is a white man who the EFF meets with regularly and accepts funding from. Why no race issue? But you are quick to say Indians are worse than Afrikaners. What did Afrikaners do? Pass apartheid legislation? But you're in an alliance with the DA and white Afrikaners.
Okay.
And you pick on Indians.
Right.
Now, I'm shocked by the ignorance displayed by many of your people. Why is it that 1.1 million Indians in this country pose such a threat to 60 million South Africans?
No, okay. Look, I hold no brief for the EFF, by the way. Their chairperson is here. I'm just here to facilitate this discussion. But it is a fact that the majority of people in Durban are of Indian origin, right? In as much as it is a fact that Lodium...
It's not correct.
Okay. Lodium and Lens are communities that we know that the majority are people of Indian origin. Now, if those people are abusing domestic workers, as I would know for a fact that it is happening in Lens, for instance, why should it be a problem? Why should I be hauled into all sorts of judicial institutions to answer for such factual incidents?
What is a fact is your opinion and perception of fact. Now, don't take offense to what I'm saying. There are 1.1 million Indians in South Africa at the last census, spread over South Africa, half of whom are school-going or in universities. The workforce is about 500,000. To say that Indians are the majority is absolutely incorrect. It's a factually incorrect statement. And it displays the wrong perception and the ignorance on the part of people who only see Indians. Why do you only notice Indians? Why?
Oh.
There are 11 million African people in KwaZulu-Natal.
All right.
Indians have a 2% quota in South Africa by South African legislation.
Okay.
So if we have a 2% quota for jobs and business and are excluded by radical transformation, how do we have these great positions and tenders?
Okay, hold it there. Mark, you are in Durban. Welcome.
Hi, good afternoon. I have been admiring the EFF for a while, but I was very disappointed when you pick on a race, directly instead of educating us helping us. You pick on a race because you are using it to get cheap votes, cheap supporters. When I say cheap, what I'm trying to say is that you are finding a cheap way of getting support. And I think it's very sad. I have a feeling financially somebody hasn't helped him somewhere, and he used this. I was very surprised with the leader. I have a lot of respect for Mr. Dalimpofu, and I've always respected him. But I don't think this guy is intelligent enough to understand the mistake he has just made, and he will make going further down. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks, Mark.
Well, let me just make a few points. Look, what we're saying is that I don't know why the gentleman talks about 1.1 million Indians. You must listen to the remarks. Don't get carried away by what the media is saying. Those remarks were specific to a particular region that we were addressing at a particular time. Those remarks were not aimed at the thousands and tens of thousands of our Indian comrades that we've been together in the struggle. Some of them are our members, some of them are our leaders. But what we're saying is that there is a problem. Either you put your head in the sand and pretend that it is not there. And if your admiration or your former admiration of the EFF was based on us calling a spade a digging instrument, well then keep your admiration, because we are going to be churning out the truth of what is happening in this country. You cannot undo the hundreds of years of inequality and racial disparity in this country by pretending that it is not there. First, we must admit that it is there. Then we can change it. We know the history of this country. It's not the fault of the Indian community that they were favored relative to Africans. Yeah. We all know, we used to say in the 8 days of Bantu education that the apartheid government would spend 1,000 rand on a white child, let's say 600 rand on an Indian child, 300 rand on a colored child, and 50 rand on an African child. Yeah. That's the reality. You can't deny it. So those things create economic conditions which make one of the groups to be working for the other group. And obviously not everybody, even African people. We had a meeting 2 years ago with domestic workers in Alexander, specifically. The things we had there, we came out there, we said, after this meeting with the domestic workers, we have been told that the African madams and masters are actually worse sometimes in ill-treating people. And we said it openly. We said, that's terrible, because these are people who should understand the plight of the domestic workers. Okay. And nobody said we are now condemning the entire African race. I mean, that's absolute nonsense.
Let's go to Limpopo. Who do we have in Limpopo?
Limpopo.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm well. Who's this?
He's in Nagata from Sibediela Makuponi.
Oh, Dinamuneng.
Yeah, Dinamuneng Babawona. I'm a former EFF branch secretary.
Okay.
I've resigned from EFF.
All right.
What I'm asking from Mr. Advocate is that are they taking us to the second Zimbabwe, or are they taking us to the greener pasture by those speeches given by the CIC by David?
Why did you resign?
No, I did resign because Advocate Limpopo, personally, I've spoken to him. He promised me while I was assaulted wearing EFF regalia. I'm now disabled because of the EFF regalia.
Is this Legasa? Okay, I think this is Legasa. Legasa Mullo, not Negeza. Legasa Mullo in ZB. I know who was calling. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we return, we talk about this issue. 99, if you may call it that. Yeah. We don't have to shy away from it. If you've got experiences of abuse or any form of subjugation, please give us a call, 089-110-4210.
If you ask this Irish master whiskey distiller why sometimes whiskey is spelled with an E and sometimes without, he'd say,
oh, to be sure. You feel so good, look. It's the whole thing. They're back and get off in the whiskey without the E.
Yeah, didn't catch that. But if you asked us the difference, we'd tell you that every whiskey from around the world is spelled without the E, except for Irish and American whiskies. Cheers. Tops at Spa. Good whiskey, good advice, no Irish accents.
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time, and today we're talking about a very serious issue that was raised by Julius Malema on their 4th year celebration here. And Dalimpofu is the national chairperson of the Economic Freedom Fighters, and Ashun Singh is the convener of the South African Minority Rights Equality Movement. Now, Advocate Singh, maybe let me just check with you. How then should South Africans deal with the abuse at the hands of people of Indian origin, whether it be in Durban or Lens or Lodium or Nirvana in Polokwane?
Thank you very much. I thought you forgot about me. You know, just to respond to Dali there, how do you classify rape, murder, robbery, hijackings, and child rape in this country? What's the statistics? Who commits these offenses? Do you racially categorize it, or does that make you feel uncomfortable? Now, you failed miserably to explain how Indians are worse than Afrikaners, right? You didn't respond to my question that Lord Renwick commands the EFF. The EFF is an alliance with the DA, which is funded by Nathan Kirsch. None of those things. So you are playing games, pulling strings, and who's the agent? You know, the last time Malema was with the journalist, he called him an agent. Who's the agent? Why don't you address the crucial issues? Who's been convicted of giving food parcels? What nonsense. Which Indian is worse than Afrikaner? Are Indians running hit squads? Where does this come from? Is it somebody's imagination? Confine yourself to the issues. You're a respected advocate, apart from your actions with Winnie Mandela, which we were young and will overlook. But now you're this crusader on morality. Answer the question, how are Indians worse than Afrikaners? Who gave food parcels? Where is this? Why hasn't the Labour Department prosecuted these individuals?
Okay.
Why do you make generalized statements?
Thank you.
Where are the facts?
Okay. Now, Advocate Singh, you now listen to me. What is your answer to my question then?
The question is very simple. There must be statistics, empirical evidence to prove food parcels were given. It's a lie in lieu of payment. Absolute nonsense. If there is abuse and one Indian abused somebody, prosecute that person and take him to court. If there's a murder, rape, robbery, ATM bombing, we prosecute those people and have them convicted. We don't talk nonsense on national TV.
But do you
know, the last
have
time Malema was in KwaZulu-Natal, he picked on Zulus.
Let me ask you.
And said that he's never able to speak because he's attacked by Zulus.
Let me ask you something. Do you have people who, and I'll give you an example of Lens, because I live in the south of Johannesburg and I'm quite familiar with Lenasia. Do you have any information, shred of information about the conditions of domestic workers in Lenasia? Do you know that there are people who are there paid 500 rands per month, having to live and work in the premises that they are, whether they be from Lesotho or from whatever part of this republic? Do you know, do you have any shred of information regarding the conditions of domestic workers?
I can tell you that SAMREM has members from the informal settlements. We have EFF councillors, DA councillors. We have members of the colored community and Indian community. We have domestic workers and people living in squatter camps in our organization. I'm a former investigator for the Truth Commission. I dug up the bodies of people who were killed by old apartheid Afrikaner death squads. It's a matter of common record in this country's history. So to preach to me is pointless. If there was such an incident, why did you not report it and have the person prosecuted? Does one incident of that nature justify comments nationally about Indian people exploiting blacks? Does that allow that? And he was
I need to allow,
not talking about Lens.
I need to allow Advocate Mpofu to respond. Mulifi, just stay on the line. We'll be taking your call just now.
Yeah, look, I think it's a waste of time. The gentleman will just not listen. He's still talking about nationally when he heard with his own 2 ears that it was said it's in KZN, it's in Durban, and so on. And it's specific incidents that were reported to us. And we are going to talk about them whether you like it or not. Now he says the real issues is the kind of thing that he's spewing about Renwick and the DA and this, that, and the sleaze. He's here to complain about, he says we must get statistics. He tells us that we've met with Renwick regularly. Let me tell you, my friend, don't be fooled. Renwick, or whatever his name was part of a delegation that we met for less than an hour once in London and in the open, and we are the ones who tweeted those photos. We've never met the gentleman again. What you're talking is just nonsense and propaganda. The real issue in South Africa is this, and you must just accept it. The issue in South Africa is that there are issues...
No, but we are not talking about the funding of EFF and DA. We're talking about the abuse of people, and as Julius has said it, by a section of the Indian community. Let me take Mulifi.
Are you
on the line. Welcome. Welcome.
How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for the call.
No, yes, thank you for the first time that I call.
Oh, you're welcome, bro.
Yeah, but I'm a little bit disturbed, man. This thing, Indian things, human rights, and all these things. Why are these people saying they will take Malema to human rights and all these things only when he speaks about Indians? And then so it's my problem. My problem is my problem is. This person is making noise outside.
If you are no longer with us, man.
These people, the ANC is talking about white monopoly capital, but whites are not taking ANC to human rights and all these things.
Yes.
But only when they mention Indians. Are they not guilty?
Okay. Mlifi, thank you very much. Well, I think at some point, let's just try to round up. Obviously, you have been taken to this authority. You're going to defend yourself because you believe you are right. What is the aim out of this?
Well, the aim is always to instigate public debate. So the public debate is always good. We've already been called, I've been called by many of my friends in the Indian community who have said, look, let's take a positive approach, use this as a platform for debate. Yes, there are issues, not this denialist stuff that you're getting from this chap. And those problems have been reported, they are known, let them be addressed once and for all. So that, you know, in the ranks of the former oppressed, we must not have our own contradictions. And as I'm saying, we are going to continue to do this. Tomorrow we'll be addressing people in Northwest, and we will talk about the local issues that are raised by the people there. When we talk to students, we'll talk about the issues that are raised by the people there. If people, when we go door to door, raise issues about how they are treated in shops, in KZN and so on, we're going to talk about those issues. That is the only way. We can either pretend these things are not happening or they've never happened, or we can say, yes, they have happened. Of course, not everyone is involved. Of course, there are people, as I say, even of African extraction, who are doing even worse things, who disallow people from attending funerals when they know culturally themselves how important it is. And we'll condemn that. There are no holy cows. Anybody who's thin-skinned, please, you are in the wrong place. The EFF is not about brushing egos. It's about exposing the issues of this country and then resolving them.
Let's get your closing remarks there, Advocate Singh.
Thank you very much. I'm not the one running away. I'm not the denialist. I asked to provide proof. You'll provide proof in court. I'm not the one claiming the moral high ground when I wasn't the one having an affair with Winnie Mandela, who suddenly now wants to preach morality. I find that deeply offensive. I came to see Julius Malema. He knows me. He shouldn't be running away. Right? We'll see him in court. He will answer the questions in court.
Okay. Well, we'll see who's going to see who in court. We'll see who's going to see who in court. If you are a so-called advocate, you should know who's going to see who in court here. Okay.
But another thing, and I think this I'm going
to action advocate who's known for having adulterous.
Okay, let me say this. I hope somewhere along the line, you will also discuss opening up business centers, because I'm told it is very difficult for African people to get business space at Plaza here. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Same problem in Lens and probably other areas in KZN. Why can't Africans get space and operate at Plaza? I think those are some of the
Indians
things
are excluded from the country's
some of the
economy
things that you would have
with
to
a 2%
discuss.
We have a 2%
Okay.
quota. No, we have a 2% quota for Indians in this country, be it at education, jobs, or in business. So
Okay.
it's a lie to say Indians dominate the economy. We are excluded by law.
All right.
What do you want?
Advocate Singh, thank you very much. I hope, this court must happen as soon as possible so that we get to hear what the truth is here.
That guy is the worst representative or pretender of the Indian community that I know. He's just a pretender.
Okay. Yeah, well, hey, it was hot today, hey? But I'm a Khozo.